Good morning from Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester. Panhandle Outdoors, your source for fishing, hunting, and information for folks who enjoy the great outdoors. Now sit back, relax. It's Panhandle Outdoors.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to Panhandle Outdoors. I'm Winston Chester. I'm glad you're here this morning. Have a great show lined up, talking about the great outdoors, and we'll get started with our weather brought to us by Haney Technical Center at the corner of Baldwin Road and Highway 77. Remember to check those folks out. All kind of interesting and beneficial programs they have over there. High today is going to be 82, low tonight 62, and the water temperature is also 82 degrees. So it's dropped about 3 degrees in the last maybe 4 weeks. So it's been a slow, steady drop, but they're really catching some nice fish in some different areas, and we're going to talk about that later on. Let's take a look at our river readings. The Apalachicola of Bluntstown, it's taken actually it's leveled off right there, and it's reading a 4.1. We've talked about Apalachicola River before. It was really low until all this rain we've had, and then it's settled off pretty good at that. Now the Choctawhatchee at Caryville, it's pretty level right there. You're looking at a 5.9 right at 6 foot. If you're going to fish Friday morning or actually Saturday morning, it's going to be dropping just a little bit Saturday morning. Okay, the tide, we're going to have a high tide at 11 o'clock today and a low tide at 12:56. And we're talking about how the tides have, all week long we're in a strong tide. A lot of y'all getting ready to fish that big tournament this weekend on October 12th. And look at it on the 12th, what a strong tide we're going to have. So good outgoing tide there. So that takes care of our weather this morning. Marine forecast coming out of northeast at 5 to 10 miles per hour. But you remember now, I'm going to talk about a tournament later. I said Elizabeth Bardolph Memorial Redfish Tournament in Lynn Haven, and all the money and proceeds will go to the Learn to Swim program. Okay, so let's take our first break. We'll be back with our special guest. Welcome back, and good morning, Ronnie Groom.
Good morning, buddy. How you doing this morning?
I'm doing great. We're here now talking about what we're going to talk about on the show. I said, well, if two of us can't talk about outdoors, we're in trouble then.
We better get another job, but you're right, buddy.
Well, let's start off about just in general what's going on now, the dove hunt, the duck hunt. What kind of reports you been getting?
We've been getting good reports. You know, the dove hunting, I've always said that it depends on who you are, where you go, and who you know, and I've heard some good reports, and there's always some that this weather, I think, messed up some of the hunts. Some of the birds flew out, and getting good duck hunting reports up around the lakes and everywhere. It seems like that's been real good.
You know, along the same line, I've got some of the same reports. The dove shooters, I've talked to several different hunters that had, several different hunts, the results, and one thing was consistent. This year they seem to be coming in later. They said they really didn't start shooting about 3 or 4 o'clock before they really started shooting. And when I go, man, I like to get in that field at 12 o'clock. I'm ready to go.
That's right.
But a lot of times they don't come until later.
Well, opening day, you're right there the minute it opens up, and they usually sit there 3 hours before they start.
I know
really
you sit there listening to a ball game or something. But to me, that's part of it.
That's right. It's very enjoyable.
Yeah. And the ducks again. There were some good reports from Deer Point.
Yeah, Deer Point. I live up on Deer Point, and boy, right at the crack of day, I could hear them start shooting right close by. It sounded like, and they had a good time up there, and that's always a good sport.
Okay, what about, let's go out from the water into the fields. What about your food plots and all? How are they coming along?
Well, finally we've gotten a little drier weather. We can plant a little bit, and so if you're in a wet area, you may not have planted yet. And I've planted on up into November, and they do good, and they last longer than going over into turkey season, which is a good thing. Yeah.
So most of your places already planted. Your places?
Yeah, well, I've got one more place to plant, but I'm gonna wait, a couple more days to get a little drier weather. It's a little bit wet. We could do it now, but I've been through sticking a tractor before, and I don't want to do that again.
It's hard to pull them out.
Ooh, man, you stuck.
They're heavy.
Yes, sir. You need another tractor.
You get all these guys pushing.
Yeah,
you have to have another tractor to pull them out.
Oh, that's right.
The truck just won't do it. A four-wheeler just won't do it.
No.
What are some things you plant, Ronnie?
I use a mix, a Pennington mix, and that I talk to the Pennington people, and the rep comes down, and we buy some seeds from them, and they have a mix that's got some oats and wheat and rye and the basic stuff in there. And I like to mix a little clover in there because the deer love the clover, and so do the turkeys. It bleeds on over into turkey season, and the turkeys eat it. So that's mainly what I plan.
What? Let me ask you this: have you already started? Is it too early to start scouting? Or I know the big thing, of course, are cameras. But I mean, just getting out. To me, scouting is not just a camera. Just walking out through the woods and just looking for paths and stuff like that. Do you, in the sign, have you started doing any of that yet?
Oh yeah, it's very important to do your scouting now with your cameras, and get out of your areas. And you don't need to, right before the season, be going in there, driving into your fields or going into your stands and making a lot of noise. You'll still have deer, but you go the big deer, the ones you're really after, are going to spook easy, and they'll move out of there and may not even come back in. So I try to stay out of my particularly my prime areas as much as possible, and just go in there just occasionally to check a film, or if you have to put some corn in a feeder or something. But go in, and I don't ever do it early in the morning or late in the evening when the feeders are about to go off, because when it comes time for that feeder to go off, those deer are close by waiting on it. And if you go in there and bang around, you're going to spook them. So if I go, I'd like to go in the middle of the day sometime when they're less likely to be around.
Hey, you know, those feeders are of crucial importance and all, because they're going to center on that area there.
Bottom line, food is the name of the game.
Yeah.
And right now, we've got acorns falling everywhere, and if you got a feeder up, it's a good idea to have them close to a bunch of oak trees. That really enhances it a lot.
That's true. That's why I never really like to cut any oak trees off my property or anything. I didn't ever do that. Those are just food trees right there.
I love an oak tree, and it amazes me. Some years you got so many acorns or less or more, but this year it seems like it's a bumper crop.
It does look that good. All right, we've got some, Ronnie brought some nice crossbows. We're going to take a break and come back and look at some of those crossbows. All right, welcome back. Ronnie and I have been sitting here talking about archery season and what a great opportunity it gives you to get in the woods in addition to just regular hunting season. That's really when it's first set up. I know you were an early archery hunter, and that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, we started back when we were using stick bows, you know, and they've come a long ways. And the season opens the 26th of this month, you know, and you can cut with a crossbow or a compound bow or a stick bow or recurve, whatever.
Well, I know each year I hear more and more talk about the crossbows. I've even thinking about getting one myself. My daughter really thinking about getting one, and it has so many advantages. So this is a Cadillac right here. This is a good-looking crossbow. So tell us about this, Ronnie. This
is a Barnett 410. This bow will shoot 410 feet a second. This is, if not the most powerful crossbow on the market, or it's up there in the very top.
Yeah.
It's a really strong bow. It's a Cadillac of the bows. It, you know, it comes with a 3-power scope. It comes with arrows and the quiver. Comes with a cocker that you cock it with. Because most people, 99% of people, couldn't physically cock this bow.
Yeah.
It's a 185-pound test.
Wow.
So you can see it, and it's extremely fast. They're extremely accurate. You know, out to even 50 yards, if you just shoot a little bit, it's real accurate. And most of the scopes have 3 lines in them, so they're set up for, you know, you can set them for 20, 30, 40 yards. And they're so fast you can't even hardly see the arrow. It's an amazing weapon. They've come so far. And the advantage of this is that, you know, like I've got a shoulder, so I can't shoot my compound anymore. So I've gone to a crossbow, and I can shoot it, and I can utilize that season still. And also for women and children and older people, it's just a great way to get in the woods early, and just so effective. It's unbelievable, the accuracy.
Well, I know, like I say, each year I hear more and more talk. They get more and more popular with these things.
You know, they're so popular, I couldn't believe it, but I counted them yesterday. I have over 30 different crossbows in the store.
No kidding.
Yeah, that's a lot of crossbows.
Yeah.
You know, usually you'll see 1 or 2, but we've got over 30, starting with the little small ones, right on up to something like this one, which is the Cadillac.
So you have that entry level, and then just work your way up.
Yeah, you can start out for less than $300, and most all of them come complete, ready to shoot. Now we buy most of them already equipped with sights and everything, and we've got the compound type like this, and we've also got the recurve type. You know, Excalibur makes a recurve. We carry the 10-point Barnett, Excalibur, Wicked Ridge. We have all kind of brands of bows and all kind of styles and prices and weights. believe it or not, they're getting lighter and lighter. In the past, they've been real heavy, but now they're getting lighter and more compact. The advantage of a compound crossbow is you can see how narrow these limbs are. They're close together.
Right.
The recurve type, they're larger, and if you're shooting in a shooting house or something, it's not quite as convenient if you're in a bushy place to shoot.
Well, that's one of the first things I thought of. You know, most the original tree houses and all had these big wide windows in it, but they got narrower and narrower now. Just, you know, the faster
a lot of them
tree
are built
houses,
up and down this way, you know.
So you got that little shooting window, and which is.
But the
that works
compounds,
good.
they're making them narrower and narrower and stronger and stronger. And really, I don't know why they keep making them stronger and stronger. This, you know, you got to have a 35-pound or heavier bow or crossbow. And 35 pounds will kill them, I guarantee you. It'll go all the way through them. But people like them strong, and we got them.
Let me ask you this, and you may not know because I don't know myself. When I St. Vincent Island hunt, with this archery hunt, do you think they'll be able to use these, or?
I don't know. Each management area has its own rules.
Yeah.
So wherever you hunt in a management area, you better check and make sure.
Yeah.
And remember, if you go hunting archery season with a crossbow, you got to have a crossbow permit. It costs $5. And vice versa, if you're using your regular bow in a crossbow season, you got to have an archery permit. So be sure and keep that straight, because that could get you in a little problem if you don't.
Now, we don't call them arrows, we call them bolts. Bolts.
They're bolts. And most of these now, most all of them are some type of carbon, which is 3 times stronger than the old aluminum and the wood that we used to use.
So you've seen a lot of folks using them too, then?
Oh, a lot of folks are going to them, and but particularly we get a lot of women that can shoot them, you know, and that's a big advantage. We need to give everybody a way to get into the woods and enjoy the great outdoors.
Now, do you have did you say you had another model, or is this?
Yeah, if you can set that one aside.
All right, I'll take this one. I'll just put this in my truck.
Just load it up.
Load it up. That is nice.
This right here now is a lighter model.
Okay.
You can see it's
yeah.
And it comes, and it's a less expensive bow. This bow is $269.
Wow.
It's adjustable in the back. If you're a small person, you can adjust it in or out. Now this one has a regular sight like this on it, and it has a hand grip. Comes with it. This comes with aluminum arrows. It's got they put your foot in here to cock it, and you need a cocker that hooks on here, and that you pull with a rope, with a small rope, and that cuts the draw weight in half. You know, most people cannot physically cock these things anymore. The old ones you can, and if it's a lightweight one, you can do it. But most of these new ones are too strong.
Yeah. Well, listen, this is, to me now, this is a great entry level.
This is an entry level bow. Yeah.
And you may not be sure, so you probably don't want to jump on that Cadillac model right now, but maybe start shooting this, and when you fall in love with a crossbow, then just work your way up. That's how I do it.
Yeah. This is it's easy, it's simple, it's not complicated, and it's easy to shoot. And anybody's interested, they'll come down. We can talk to them and walk them through it, and show them all the technicalities and how to do it. It's really very simple.
Now, are the bolts interchangeable, or do you need a different bolt on a stronger one, like with that?
Well, they come like a 35 to 55, 55 to 75 pound bolts.
Okay.
So you have to match it. And another critical thing is draw length. Most of them shoot a 20-inch bolt.
Okay.
But some of them shoot a smaller one, and some of them shoot a 22-inch bolt. But it's important to get started right. That's that's really important. You start out with the wrong gear, the wrong equipment, the wrong way to shoot, then you're gonna have problems.
Well, now on the target itself, I know we shoot a lot of in archery. We have a lot of different targets, but you got to have a special target to shoot at.
You need a crossbow target.
Okay.
Don't even with a compound bow. Don't think you can go out and buy a bale of hay now. And shoot
Yeah, not anymore.
These bows go through 3 bales of hay and keep going.
That's true.
I recommend if you got a wood fence in your yard, put your target in front of that wood fence, and you got double protection there. But you know, you're shooting these things usually at 20, 30 yards.
Okay.
And but you do need a quality target, because you'll sink those arrows up, and you can hardly get them out, or they'll go all the way through.
I was gonna say that you know, them being short, they could get on up on a foam target or something.
And what I do is if I've got, say, a half dozen bolts or arrows in a regular bow, I pick out one, and that's all I shoot. I don't shoot all my arrows. I save all my arrows in good condition, and I take one and I practice with it. And another important thing is people get the impression if you're, they make a practice point you screw in the end of your arrow, or they make a broadhead that you hunt with.
Right.
And a lot of people think if I'm shooting a 100-grain broadhead, I can shoot a 100-grain target point, and they shoot the same. And that is not true, I can tell you.
Really?
The arrows, the broadhead, the wind affects it different than it affects that little bitty target point. Even though they weigh the same, their impact is not the same. Now, it may only be an inch or two, but to me, an inch or two is important. So I use that one arrow and use it to practice with. And plus, when you're practicing, your efficiency is not determined by how many times you shoot. It's how well you shoot each arrow. So you want to take your time when you walk down there and pull that arrow and come back and you load it up, and you know you're gonna be a while. You got to take your time and shoot this one because you got to go get it. So you'll take your time and do a better job. It's like a person shooting a single shot rifle is usually a very good shot because he knows he needs to make that one count.
One shot.
Right.
One shot's got to count. Well, that's a good looking one too. So, all right, look, we're going to take our final break and we'll be right back. Hi, welcome back. Sitting here with Ronnie Groom from C&G Sporting Goods, one of America's oldest sporting goods store. I used to say Florida's oldest sporting goods store, but it's
been there a long time.
It's been there a while. Let's take a look at our fishing game forecast brought to us by Mark Coward of Edgewater Beach Realty, number 832-6000. We're looking at 4:15 this morning to 6:15, and this afternoon, excellent time this afternoon, 4:45 to 6:45. Great time to go. Ronnie, we were talking about as kids and all growing up, so many little fun things we did that were sort of, it wasn't organized. It just we didn't have all the electronic games. You know, people get tired of hearing that, but you look at kids now; they're doing a lot of this. But
yeah,
when we and you mentioned rabbit hunting.
We used to go on my granddaddy's farm. We'd go rabbit hunting, and it was a lot of fun. Just 2 or 3 kids out there walking through these fields. Good for us. Shot rabbits. Rabbits are really good to eat.
And they're healthy. They're healthy food.
I have good memories. When I was doing bow schools at Westervelt Hunting Lodge, we between bow schools we'd have a Thursday night that we didn't have a school going on, and we'd go to town to Aliceville, Alabama, and they had a rabbit cooking. I mean, everybody for miles around came to. They had fried rabbit stacked up that high with rice and gravy, and boy, I got good memories of that. I was there when they opened the door.
Well, listen, speaking of Westervelt, are they still doing the programs they used to have? I know you were very active in that at one time when you really got archery going strong in the South.
Yeah, they're active. It's a good place to go. It's a very comfortable place to go. Food, private baths, private rooms, and all. And if you got the time and can afford it, it's just a super place to go. The people are just so nice. They treat you nice. They have some really good deer. They drive you out, put you out in a shooting house, and they come and get you, and they feed you 3 meals a day and some of the best fried chicken and steaks you've ever eaten. It's just really a good experience to go to a place like that. Although probably my favorite way to hunt is to take grandkids and kids and take them out.
That's true. That's true. And we mentioned also about fun things we did growing up about frog gigging.
Frog gigging. We got a lot of frogs around here with all this rain.
And I get some pictures on it. We had some pictures yesterday of some people that had frog legs on the grill.
Well, frog legs are delicious. People kind of shy away from them. Some people do, but I love frog legs. Man, fry those things up. They are delicious.
Well, let me ask you this now. Getting back, talking to different people, what's the prognosis this year on the deer hunting, on the population? What are you hearing from all your customers and different people?
All the reports I'm getting now is very good. We have a bumper acorn crop, and we've had a lot of rain, so there's a lot of food. They eat weeds are one of their primary foods for deer, and that's what they're eating. And it's just the woods, we've had to bush hog twice up in the place that I hunt just to keep the weeds down. Usually we can do it one time and that's enough. But boy, I'm telling you, the weeds were up 5-6 foot tall in the fields, and they had to be bush hog twice. And then you got to go in and either poison them or disc them and plant your food plots. So yeah, I look for a really good season. There's lots of squirrels. That's a big thing, especially at Thanksgiving. So many families, complete families, go down on the river, Apalachicola River, Choctaw River, and they camp out and have just a great time. And that's been a tradition here for just as long as I can remember.
We
It's
talk
a
about
great
that.
tradition.
It really it's something special to go just ride along the river and look at different camps and the campfires and the people just.
You know what gets me is the people up here on the river will get up in the morning and they'll go down here and hunt. People down here will come back up in here and hunt. You know?
Yeah, always the grass
They're
is greener.
passing each other.
Yeah, the grass is greener on the other side of the fence. But
Yeah.
still, I mean, they go back and back.
But that's a great time down there.
All the river boats are active. You see
Yeah.
all the boats there.
Yeah.
And all, the houseboats and all. And the river downs, you got to be careful of stumps and all.
Yeah, it's really going down. But you know, it got up there high for a long time now.
And we're talking about how beneficial that is to get
Right.
that backwater back in those sloughs and
You talk about improving the fishing. And
yes,
boy,
sir.
this
And you've seen that.
fishing is going to really
Yeah.
be good for the next while. You know.
Yeah, it's going really good right now, and I think for the rest of this
Yeah,
month.
I've gotten
on
some
it.
really good fishing. It's still, people are still fly fishing and catching the hound out
Yeah,
of it.
yeah.
So that's a good thing.
Have you ever heard of mayflies blooming hatching in the fall? Somebody was telling me that the other day.
They may. I'm not.
I'm not
with
familiar
it.
with it. They said they were catching some on mayflies, but I'm sure there was some kind of fly they were catching them. But
When fall gets here, I'm in the woods, so I don't know what the fall fishing is.
I know. Well,
But
Ronnie,
for the fishermen, fall is a good time because the hunters are out of the way.
that's right. That's right. But we're going to start wrapping things up. Again, crossbows. Y'all run down there and take a look at these crossbows if you think about it. Do you have a place to shoot down there?
No, we don't. We don't have a place to shoot, but we can show them to you,
And how to do it all?
yeah, we can give you the poop on it.
Okay. And again, that opens up a whole new avenue on hunting to have a crossbow if you can't pull back a bow or something. So,
Right.
So I want to encourage you to go by and take a look. As always, Ronnie, appreciate you coming out.
Thank you. Enjoyed it, buddy.
And run by and you'll talk to people. They just come down and talk about hunting and fishing.
Yeah,
won't you?
yeah. We invite people to come down and look at all our mounts.
It's
You
a
don't have to buy
museum.
something. Just come visit with
It's
us.
a museum. I'm telling you,
That's
you've never
right.
been to C&G Sporting Goods. It's amazing. But folks, we're going to start wrapping things up. As always, we want to thank you for watching Panhandle Outdoors. And tomorrow we're going to have Lieutenant Stan Kirkland on the show, and he'll be telling us some good information. So you stay tuned and be sure and support our sponsors like C&G Sporting Goods. We appreciate your viewership. You do something good for somebody today, and God bless.
Thanks for joining us for Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester. Panhandle Outdoors features hunting, fishing, and other activities and information to help you enjoy the great outdoors. Join us next time for Panhandle Outdoors.